Hello, this is Refocusing Barbados, and once again, this is Mac. Today, I want to touch on an issue, or I should say an issue. But this is something that I have been observing for some years now. I visited Shafet Harbor Road, and when I was coming out of the restaurant, I met a young man, and he looked like a former schoolmate of mine. And I asked him, "Did you go to St. Anthony's?" He said, No, I didn't go to St. Anthony's. But I think I know who you're talking about. So he mentioned a name to me, and I said, "Yes, you look like him." But he said, he died many years ago. And I asked him, what was the cause of death? He said, cancer. Now, I am one of those former St. Anthony students who went to school in Country Road. It was in Country Road first, and then they went to Messiah Street, St. John. And there's something that has been happening to former St. Anthony students who attended school in Country Road. Quite a number of us have died of cancer. Some have had respiratory problems. Some have had heart problems. And this has concerned a few of us. And we are wondering, why is this high level of cancer among former St. Anthony students? Why do we have such high levels of heart failure, heart problems from former students of St. Anthony's High School? And there are other problems that have been associated with a lot of the students, and there's a similarity in a lot of the cases. And I'm asking this, and I'm wondering about this. Has anyone ever done a study of all of those residents in areas like King Street, all those areas below Country Road or in close proximity, like green fields and those areas? Has anyone ever done a study to see how many cases of cancer over the years have been reported? How many people have died of cancer? How many people have suffered from respiratory problems? This is very, very, very interesting, because recently we buried one of our schoolmates, Einstein Ennis. And I had a conversation with Einstein before he died. And we were looking at this. And he asked me, when he visited his pharmacy a few years ago, he asked me, "Do you have heart problems?" I said, "Yes." He said, "But I know your brother also has heart problems." I said, "Yes, he does." But I said, "But ours, I know our problems are hereditary. It runs in our family." But he said, "What? They've been noticing a high level of problem in terms of heart problems and cancer and respiratory problems with former students of St. Anthony's School." When you look at small societies in the Caribbean, especially in the West Indies, there are things that happen in our societies that our officials tend not to look at. It seems as though we are not trained to look at trends. But I know this is a trend. It has happened to too many of us, former students of St. Anthony's High School. And I've been asking, sometimes I've asked about some of my former colleagues, and I hear, "She's dead, he is dead." And they're dying at very young ages. It isn't that they die in accidents or that they have grown to full maturity. There can't be any 80-year-olds around who have been to St. Anthony's. Cannot. It isn't that we are living to 70 years and 10, we live it to 65 and 70 and that kind of thing, and then you expect at any time someone will pass. There are trends, and we need to do it. And the Ministry of Health over the years, they have not concerned themselves with looking at issues like these within our society. where in certain communities you have a consistency and a repetition. You have a problem springing up and continuing and building out itself, and where a lot of people are suffering. And a lot of times these things are swept under the carpet like nothing has happened. I have lost too many of my schoolmates to this tragedy. It is a tragedy. Because you know why it's a tragedy? I think the Ministry of Health over the years understand what is happening in these communities. They understand what has happened to students at St. Anthony's High School. I know they have to know, because if we at St. Anthony's, the former students at St. Anthony's High understand it and are concerned about it, the Ministry of Health has to know that there is a problem with that area. And how many poor people have lost their loved ones to cancer, to heart failure, to respiratory problems, and they have gone on and they have not received any form of compensation. That is bad. That is wrong. It's unethical. And we need our governments and our institutions like the Ministry of Health to be on top of things to protect the society, instead of exposing us to hazards that will hurt people and destroy families. You know what is interesting? The students that attended St. Anthony's High in Marcellus Street, they do not have the problems. And if you all don't me, talk to anyone who has been to St. Anthony's School in Country Road and they will tell you this needs an investigation. And I hope we will get one. Thank you. This is Refocusing Barbados. Thanks for following us.